what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 4th episode for The Walking Dead Season 10. In this one, we'll go ahead and do our video predictions, what we think is going to happen in Silence the Whisperers. Alright, so I'll put the link in the description for you guys so you can check out the promo video from the Walking Dead channel, AMC's Walking Dead channel for episode 4, which is now called Silence the Whisperers, which is pretty cool. It's kind of a epic part of the Walking Dead comic book series where things start to fester for the survivors because of what the Whisperers have been up to and what they've been doing. In the TV series version here, we're starting to see that. The description for the episode Silence the Whisperers reads, "Still paranoid, Alexandrians get riled up over the Whisperers and take their fear out on Negan. Back at Hilltop, the group deals with an unexpected safety issue." So it looks like we're going to be getting to see our first part of the Hilltop this season, which is not bad considering how it's the 4th episode and we haven't even seen the Hilltop yet. But I kind of forgot that there was really anybody there that we really, we're missing. If you look at episode 3 in that, it feels like you have most of your stars kind of in that episode. But I did forget a little bit about Ezekiel and Jerry and some of the others that, Yumiko, that's where they are. They're at the Hilltop. So it looks like in episode 4, we're going to get to see that side of things and how they've been dealing with these oncoming waves and waves of walkers, either possibly from the satellite or maybe arguably actually being guided by Alpha on purpose to just to wear down the communities and see if maybe she could, take them down or wear them down to the point where they collapse without her actually having to really do anything as a result, just letting the Guardians, as they call them, sort of, take them out on their own. And it does look like here they're saying that there's an unexpected safety issue, and so we'll have to see how much of it. Yumiko and the others might be at Alexandria, but we can see for sure from the promo that Ezekiel and some of the others are at Hilltop, so it'll be kind of half and half issue or episode from the looks of things. So that looks good, but is it possible that the Hilltop could fall as a result of all the different walkers coming through? Well, I think with the walls that they have, the big giant, log wall type of deal that the Hilltop has, it should be able to keep walkers out pretty much permanently. It's very difficult to think that any amount of walkers that come in and bang on those Hilltop walls or gates or anything would be enough to actually knock them in. You'd want to say for the most part, the Hilltop is the walls are so huge and everything like that even if you had thousands of walkers come through, they still probably couldn't knock it down unless the gates have some weak points or something like this, which maybe that's what they're talking about when they say unexpected safety issue here. So it does look pretty good. The only thing is with this episode is we got to see Daryl, we got to see Carol, we got to see Michonne in episode 3 and Negan and Aaron. So are there going to be enough if they're not going to really include them that much in episode 4? Is there enough from what we see at the Hilltop to keep things interesting? But personally, Ezekiel is one of my favorite characters, so I like to see Ezekiel and Jerry, so it'll be fun to see what they do from their side of things. I'm glad they're both still alive in the Walking Dead TV series version because I just think that Ezekiel is really a kind of upbeat, positive type of character most of the time. So he tends to make his episodes kind of fun, or at least there's some fun kind of kingdom culture still left in there in them and kind of the way they act. Sometimes it doesn't seem like there's much. So that's the side of things. At the Hilltop's going to be cool to see that again because we haven't seen it for a long time. And, of course, Maggie hasn't been there, so I'm not sure exactly who is actually in the leadership position at the Hilltop. I don't know if it is Ezekiel or if it's somebody else there. I guess we'll have to see, and hopefully in this episode we can find out. Because Maggie's not there, Jesus is dead, Tara's dead, who has been in charge of the Hilltop all this time? Is it Ezekiel or what is that exactly? We'll see. So the rest of the promo, you've got Aaron who's talking to everybody and talking about what the Whisperers did. People are spray painting or spraying on the doors, Silence the Whisperers, so they're starting to get really kind of antsy. You have the Highwaymen, which is kind of a new sort of add-in group for the TV series version. It never existed in the comics. That they want vengeance for, especially the one lady there who I think is still unnamed. They want vengeance for what happened to their members before, which makes sense. And the others as well too. Alexandrians starting to kind of lose it and wanting to get vengeance as well. The only thing that's weird about the Walking Dead TV series right now is you have you have a lot of these characters in and around, like the lady from the Highwaymen, but they're probably like C characters at best. They're not they're not forefront characters. They're kind of background characters, and because of how many were killed off in the Red Fair last season, season 9, it just feels like there's not that many kind of in the middle characters anymore. Like characters like Tara and Henry's another. Well, he came back for the ghost scene, but these other ones that you're used to seeing in and around that maybe they're not your A or B listers, but Tara probably eventually moved up to, I'd say, like a B lister, maybe a high B or like a low A type of lister. Like right, after the amount of seasons she was in, she moved up. But it's weird to see, like, you got all these background characters there, and so many of them we don't know. Like, they're having scenes in episode 3 where they're getting upset about it and everything like this, but we don't personally really have any affiliation, or we don't really know them in any way, or really care for them emotionally or anything. They're just kind of there, which I guess is okay if you have so many people in the communities living there. We do get to see Earl, which is kind of cool because we haven't seen him for a while. He's one that's notable that we actually know who he is. But it just feels like there's a lot of characters in The Walking Dead right now that we don't care for, or we don't even really know them. Even Magna, Yumiko, and that group, it sort of feels like we kind of barely know them. Like they're there, and we get that they're from the comics, so they should be at the forefront or whatever. But it's like new blood for The Walking Dead, but we still hardly know them in some ways. Maybe Connie is kind of the most forefront out of that whole group, just because of her time with Daryl and that possibility, and the fight with Beta and everything last season really allowed her to kind of level up, I want to say, out of that whole group. So we'll see. We'll see how things go and how it kind of feels to see a lot of these episodes with a lot of these lesser known, kind of even unnamed people sort of like involved in the stories. Like, who the hell this is? Like back in the day, we used to kind of know like who everybody was for the most part, I want to say, especially in the earlier seasons and that. And it's just weird to see like, so many people around, but you don't know any of them. It's kind of like you're at a concert or something out of city, and you got your buddies there with you, but you don't know anyone else there. There's always people around, but you don't know anybody. It kind of feels like that a little bit. So they took our land. Aaron is talking about how, what the Whisperers have done. And then you've got Lydia, who's there's one that's kind of in and around, who's not an A-lister, who's kind of there. She's kind of having to deal with this flack that everyone's giving her, and it looks like there's possibly kind of a scene with her and the lady Highwaymen, which looks like it could be, something. Could the Highwaymen attack her or do something like this? Seems kind of likely, but it's kind of hard to. From our perspective, we know what Lydia's background is, but from theirs, they don't. They just know her as possibly the daughter of this, this brutal group that's doing all these things that killed their people and all this stuff. So we may see them try to take matters into their own hands. And you've got Daryl, who's kind of walking after Lydia. He might be a bit concerned, as Negan's already warned her to watch her back. So, but it does say here that people are going to take their fear out on Negan as well too. So maybe both Negan and Lydia will get some flack in this episode because, of course, they're joinees from the other side, from villain type side, saviors and whisperers, right? So 9 are injured. It will take a long time to get them all out. Jerry's saying about something that's happening in and around. Probably just again that other side of things for the others that we didn't see in episode 3, dealing with these oncoming walker herds. And then you have Luke and the others. They just keep coming as they're fighting them back. Yumiko and the rest. And then Yumiko, if we stay here, we die. So not sure where they have to abandon. If they're at the Hilltop, do they have to abandon the Hilltop? Are they abandoning a place kind of in between? Something like that. The ocean side, of course, is where it hit down. So you got to think that the ocean side would be where most of those walkers are actually heading to, ultimately. And if that's the case, are they going to be able to fight off the herds of walkers like the Alexandrians have? It'll be interesting to see how the other groups and the other locations dealt with these oncoming walker herds for 50 hours, or if they got as many, and if they were able to kind of kill them all without losing any members, like it looks like Alexandria for the most part was mainly able to do, right? Was fight off all the waves and didn't really lose anybody of note from what we know of. So episode 4 looks like a good one. Of course, we're almost at the halfway point for this first half season for The Walking Dead. First 3 episodes I feel like have been really good. Enjoying seeing the Whispers, enjoying seeing everybody again, all the different characters that are still around that we care about, which is not as many, and pretty soon it's going to be even less. Of course, we haven't seen much shaping up for Michonne as of yet. So it doesn't feel like her last episode will be episode 5 right now, especially if she's not really in episode 4. So it sounds like they're not going to have it be the same kind of run as what happened with Rick, where he had like the first 5 episodes and then he was done. And then after that, the time skip, and he was gone for good. When Michonne leaves, it looks like it probably won't be episode 5 or if it is, they just haven't telegraphed it at all ahead of time. So my predictions for episode 4 looks like a pretty good episode. Maybe not quite as good as episode 3 because we got to see all of our main listers there. But we're seeing things shape up here, and we'll see how the other unknowns, the Highwaymen and others, how they react to Lydia, and how the other communities have been faring when you have all these just massive amounts of walkers coming through. So that'll be it for my predictions video, guys. Looks like a pretty good episode. Let me know what you think, and if you like the video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and subscribe to the bottom left if you're new. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.